first computerized license plate. Please welcome Rachel Hankerson of International Proof Systems.
Good morning, good morning. My name is Rachel Hankerson, as Courtney has stated, and I'm from the wonderful city of St. Louis, Missouri. How many of you passed through St. Louis before and went up in the wonderful arch? Well, wonderful, wonderful. Well, as Courtney stated, I created the world's first computerized license plate known as Proof Smart Tags, and if I can get someone to assist me, I don't want to mess up anything over here. What do I do with the little remote? But like Courtney stated, I created the world's first computerized license plate to improve the validation of auto insurance, vehicle registration, and minimize the time that it takes to locate a vehicle in the instance of an emergency. If we can go ahead and go on to the next slide. So what is the big problem? The big problem is that who are insured motorists, how many insured motorists we have? Every year, our premium continues to go higher and higher. And the reason our premium continues to climb is because we that are motorists, we're covering the cost of damages caused by uninsured motorists. And through our research, we found out that wrecks with uninsured motorists cost us who are insured motorists billions of dollars. And some of the states that have the largest amount of uninsured motorists includes Mississippi, California, Alabama, New Mexico, Arizona, and Tennessee. So each year that our insurance premium rises, we're covering the cost for damages caused by uninsured motorists. So when someone goes and drives and knocks down a light pole and they're uninsured, we're covering that cost. When we have a collision between someone else and they don't have insurance and they don't have anything that we can claim for, we that are insured motorists covers that cost. So Proof Smart Tags has resolved the problem of uninsured motorists, not only in Mississippi, not only in California, New Mexico, but across the world. And like I stated, Proof Smart Tags will maintain the universal aluminum structure to improve the system of validating auto insurance, vehicle registration, and response time in locating a vehicle in the instance of an emergency. As you can see, our aluminum structure, this is Missouri. How many of us are glad to be in Missouri? Let me try that again. How many of us are glad to be in Missouri? All right, well, what about California? All right. But we can see, this aluminum structure license plate is known across the globe. It's known all across our nation. Even if you drive down in Mexico, they have the aluminum structure. If you go in China, they have the aluminum structure. So our goal is to make Proof Smart Tags the universal means of improved validation of auto insurance, vehicle registration, and reduced time in locating a vehicle in the instance of an emergency. So our products timeline, how did I come up with this? Well, in 1994, I was an undergraduate at Southwest Missouri State University in Springfield, Missouri, and I purchased my very first vehicle at the age of 21. And this was a 1988 Dodge Colt. And you know what most typical 20-year-olds do when they purchase their very first vehicle? Well, for my commute from Springfield, Missouri to St. Louis, Missouri on Highway 44, I did what we should not do. So I put my foot down to the pedal and I sped, from Springfield to St. Louis. I tell you, I just loved it. The windows were down, the wind was in my hair, the music was loud. But being 21, I was not thinking about the police officer. So, there were many times I was stopped for speeding. Now, let me take you back. My parents and I had an agreement. When I purchased my car, they said, Rachel, you are responsible for the car note, and we will be responsible for auto insurance. So my parents always made sure that I have auto insurance. But the problem was when it was time for them to renew the policy, the insurance company mailed the renewed card to my parents' residence in St. Louis, which failed to come to my dorm in Springfield. So when I was speeding and caught by the police officer said, ma'am, hand me your driver's license and proof of auto insurance. So I did what most of us do, go looking through the glove compartment, knocking everything down, and pulled out the insurance card. The bad thing about it, it was the expired insurance card. And so the police officer said, well, this is an expired insurance card. I said, officer, I do have insurance. I really do. I do. My parents paid for it. Well, they weren't taking that at all. And so they gave me a ticket for speeding and not having valid proof of auto insurance. And so after this happened over and over and over again, didn't learn my lesson about speeding, I said there has to be a better process than this. If I have auto insurance, I should not be ticketed for not having a valid insurance card. So I came up with Proof Smart Tags, the computerized license plate, because each vehicle has to have an associated license plate. So why not just merge it all together? So in 1994, I just tucked that away in my little book of inventions and continued on with my undergraduate study. But it wasn't until 2008, the Great Recession of 2008, I was caught into the pool of unemployment. Husband, 3 children, could not find a job. I submitted thousands of resumes. Nothing came through. Yeah, I had a few temporary projects that lasted a few months, a year here, there. And, you know, I needed some real money. And I said, well, you know what? I'm young. I have my master's degree at this time. And I said, I have this book of invention. Let me do what our grandparents of the Great Depression of 1930s did. Let me just roll my sleeves up and create employment. So instead of me being the employee looking for an employment opportunity, let me switch the table and become the employer, not only providing a great product and a service, but offering America jobs. What do you think about that? All right. So it wasn't until 2010, you know, where I got enough gall to go ahead and go forward. So in 2010, I pitched to some of everyone in St. Louis, Missouri to get Proof Smart Tags, bring awareness, financial support, and support and endorsement. I received my provisional patent, and just in 2014, California got a hold of it. They loved it, released a request for proposal. I responded to the proposal, and the end of this month, I'm supposed to go to California and present Proof Smart Tags for a 2-year pilot. All right, yeah, woo! So, the market size is humongous. Our goal is to cover the entire population of motorists, of motor vehicles. Like I said, not only in our nation, but internationally. And so our target market, we have the auto insurance industry. As of right now, these industries currently exist. We have the auto insurance industry. We have the police department. We have the Department of Revenue, sometimes interchanged with the Department of Revenue. Now, what our goal is to bridge them all. Instead of them being 3 to 4 separate entities, we're putting a channel of communication between the auto insurance industry, Department of Revenue, interchanged with the Department of Motor Vehicle, and the law enforcement. So, the great benefits is that we eliminate the need to mail insurance cards. So if any of you are like me and you love to speed, so when you get caught for speeding, the police officer will give you a ticket because we're disobeying the law. But you that are insured motorists will always have insurance, right? Because they can look at it right through your license plate. We would increase revenue by greater compliance. So the auto insurance industry, right now, there's not a system in place to validate. There's only 2 ways that the law enforcement can determine if someone is insured. The 2 ways include if you're speeding like I did, that's when the police officer asks for auto insurance and proof of and your driver's license, or if you're in an accident. Those are the only 2 ways to determine if someone has auto insurance. But my system resolved that problem because at all times, the computerized license plate will determine if you're insured or not, if you're registered or not, even if there's a panic signal. We eliminate the need to print registration stickers. How many of you have been victimized by paying your personal property tax, paying your auto insurance, put your sticker on the back of your license plate, and someone comes and takes it off? How many of you have been victimized by that? And then in some counties, the police officer will ticket you if you do not have that card on, regardless of whether or not you pay your registration. So you have to go back down to the DMV to get another sticker. But look, Proof Smart Tags eliminate that problem. You no longer have to worry about an adhesive tag because the monitoring system is embedded into the license plate. So we that are registered with our license plate will display that at all times. Track criminal behavior, like I told you. Our goal is to be universal. So if someone in Missouri does an unforeseen crime and try to hide out in Connecticut, they will not be able to do so, because Proof Smart Tags will go across the state line. So the authorities in each state will be able to know if someone did some unforeseen crime and locate them. So they will not be able to hide out anywhere, okay? So what are our strengths? Our strengths, we maintain the universal structure of the aluminum license plate. We don't change because, a lot of times we don't like change. Is that right? So, but we maintain the aluminum structure, operable in all weather conditions, provide real-time data. There's no scanning. We do not retain anyone's insurance information. We don't retain anyone's registration. We don't retain any data. The only thing we do is ons and offs, yes and no's. You're insured, you're not. You're registered, you're not, or in the case of a panic situation. Okay? So our business model, I don't know if you all can see this, but International Proof Systems, that's the name of my company, and we bridge and we work with the Department of Insurance, Department of Revenue, and the law enforcement. Manufacturers down through different states have different types of manufacturing, but we will work with them in that avenue. Okay, have a wonderful management team with me, and I truly appreciate your time and listening.
Rachel, thank you. So we'd like to open it up to Q&A, give the audience a chance to ask some questions. We've got a question here up front for you.
I love your energy.
Oh, well, thank you.
I didn't need coffee this morning. I had a little bit of you. So can you walk us through a little bit about kind of how the process works? So I have insurance, I register my vehicle, they take the information that I have proof of insurance. What happens if I let my insurance lapse? Like, how do they know that I'm still an insured driver?
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't necessarily talk about the technology unless I have each of you sign an NDA. I don't know if you want to do that. But as far as the process, you pay your insurance. We're working with the auto insurance company. So the auto insurance company will have a system, and their system will communicate with our system. So if you have insurance, they would already have all of your information in the system. And then it's like a clock, a ticking clock. On that specific date that your auto insurance expires, after your grace period, then if you have not paid your auto insurance, there will be another state to reflect that you're no longer insured.
Can you also tell us a little bit about who your ideal client is?
Mm-hmm. Our ideal client, like I stated earlier, includes the auto insurance industry, the Department of Revenue, which interchanges in different states with the Department of Motor Vehicle, and the law enforcement. Those are our three clients. Those are our customers.
And how do you reach those, or what is your marketing plan? How do you reach out to those clients and bring them on board with your system?
Wonderful. Yeah, so California is just a wonderful state, but we thank God for Missouri. We're grateful for Missouri, right? So California, considering Proof Smart Tags is the world's first computerized license plate. Yeah, we've had some competitors to try to come on board since we've been pitching, but my patent attorney said, Rachel, don't worry about that. You just make sure that yours get to market. But I said, this is my idea. No one could take my idea. But he said, my patent covers, covers me for right now. So what California has done, they have allowed the vendor who proceeds forward with this pilot to communicate with the auto insurance industry, the Department of Revenue, and the law enforcement. So Governor Brown of California has already signed a bill, to validate this electronic license plate and to move forward with the pilot. So what our goal is to have this system, tested and moving forward in California, and after that, we believe other states would, follow pursuit, because California is known as the trend-setting state with technology.
Got a question in the far left here?
I know you don't want to talk much about the actual technology, but first of all, is this going to be affixed to the physical plate itself? And then secondly, do you perceive that your customer is going to be the insurance companies more than the individual consumers?
Great question. There will be a marriage between the vehicle and the license plate to open the channel of communication. And what was your second question? I'm sorry. Consumers. Yes, we're not necessarily, our target is the insurance industry. So yes, we will communicate with each private and public insurance companies. And from there, the insurance companies will communicate with the average consumer.
Question in the center.
So you said earlier that you wanted to create employment.
Oh, yes.
That was the exciting thing, and that's why small businesses are here, because we want to create jobs.
Yes.
But you probably shouldn't be the one in the car, because you're going to get speeding tickets all the time for the company.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? Give me the structure of the people that you're going to create jobs for and how that timeline's going to look.
Do you want to be my personal driver? That's a job right there.
I won't go toe-to-toe to you on debate, because you're going to beat me, so.
Well, wonderful, great question. Like I stated, proof smart tags is so humongous, it's enormous. You know, we say it's the next big thing of the 21st century. And so if we're talking about having proof smart tags, you know, out in each state of the U.S. and then into our international market, we need human resources, we need accountants, we need finances, we need businessmen, businesswomen, we need the entire 9 yards. So we're creating, you know, we're improving the ecosystem. We need a lot of help here, you know. Yeah, so I hope that helps out. And you know, it really kind of, you know, get me a little stirred up a little bit. Just this past 2014 year, there were thousands of graduates, thousands, not only here in Missouri, but across the globe. And considering the 2008 recession had minimized so many jobs, these young people go to college. A lot of them receive thousands of dollars in loans and debts, get out of college and receive a minimum wage job. You know, they don't work in the area that they spent 4 years of studying. You know, and that kind of just shook me up. But with Proof Smart Tags, considering it's open, and like I stated, we need those individuals that have knowledge in human resources. We need those individuals who have knowledge in finance and accounting and economics, the entire 9 yards. Legal, we have some great legal help with us, but we need it across the globe. So, yeah. Yeah, well, when 10 people, as Proof Smart Tags grows, for example, when this RFP in California has been, you know, closed, it's a 2-year pilot, and they have all this work that they need resolved, you know, so we would need probably about, just for the 2-year pilot, we would need probably about another, 15 people. And so when California releases, they have millions of registered vehicles in the state of California. And so we're going to need more people to help us keep everything together. You know, I don't want to drop the ball. I want to be able to communicate. When someone needs an answer, I need my team to be able to communicate that answer right when it's needed, you know. So yeah, we need a lot of help. We need a lot of help.
We've got a question way here in the back.
In the, excuse me, in these problem states, what's the percentage of these vehicles that actually have a valid license plate on the vehicle? And what's to prevent criminals from keeping that in your technology, keeping those license plates on those cars?
I'm sorry, repeat that again to me?
Well, you talk about the percentage of insurance, people that don't have insurance, but isn't there a large percentage of people that don't have valid license plates? That's why they steal the tags in the first place.
Now, when
And then why would criminals keep that license plate on their car? What's in your technology to prevent that?
Well, if I understand your question correctly, what is the percentage of insured motorists? Is that what your question is? No.
People driving vehicles without proper license plates.
Right.
Like they take a license plate off another car and put it on their car.
Well, with Proof Smart Tags, they will not be able to do that.
Why
Because
not?
with the
Why not?
Because the computerized license plate will be married to the vehicle. Whenever there's a separation between the license plate and the vehicle, the authorities will be notarized. If there is an unauthorized separation between the license plate and the vehicle, the authorities will be notarized. So no one will be able to take somebody's plate off of someone's vehicle and place it on another vehicle.
Got another question here up front.
So who is making these Proof Smart Tags and where they're made? More specifically, like what kind of margins do you have? You know, how much does it cost to manufacture this, and how much does it cost to stick them on the cars?
Well, I currently have a design and development team in California. But as far as manufacturing, we have corresponded with several states, you know. Our goal is to continue the network with the states that currently manufactures the license plate. For example, here in Missouri, it's the Missouri Vocational Enterprise. The prison currently manufactures the license plate. So our goal is we want to continue to put money in the state, not take money out of the state, put money in the state and increase revenue. So our goal is to continue to work with the Department of Corrections to manufacture. They would not have any dealings with the system, but they would help with manufacturing the license plate.
Got a
another
question here in the
for you.
back. Oh, go ahead, Milton.
Go ahead, Lance.
Okay, here in the back.
I don't know if you mentioned this before, but have you considered with the state level when people do get like stopped for not having a license plate, not having insurance and that kind of thing, that they would be required if, besides like impounding their vehicle or that kind of thing, that they'd be required to register to get one of these things and maintain it for a certain amount of time to actually have a like valid driver's license or a valid be able to drive their car, basically. If they get stopped without it, their car would either be impounded as a consequence or they would be required to have something like this.
Are you asking at the time that they're stopped?
No, through the court proceedings, that it's like somewhat of a consequence or a repercussion that they're, in the future, if they have a vehicle that's owned by them, they're required to maintain the plates or that kind of thing, that on the back end, so you make sure that people who do get stopped without valid license plates are required to have them. I guess.
I'm sorry, repeat your question again.
Have you considered basically working with the court system to require people to have these things in the future after they?
Yes, sir. By state law, we have to work with legislation because it's at the legislative branch, it's at the legislative level where law enforces each motorist to obtain auto insurance. By state law, 98% of the states within the U.S. mandates that each motorist obtains auto insurance, but there currently isn't a system in place to validate who has auto insurance. So like I stated, the two ways they can determine if you're in a traffic violation or in an accident. So yes, we have been corresponding with state senators, state representatives, trying to get laws passed in each state. But since California has already done so, California, I tell you, we're focusing mostly right now towards California, and then we'll expand out with laws. Yes, the court
Got
system.
another question for you here in the middle before we wrap up.
Two things that stuck out to me. You mentioned that if the smart tag was removed from the license plate, that the officers would be notified, or that it would be obvious. Also, that if a criminal was trying to cross a state line, that they would no longer be able to do so because this works from state to state. Is this something from the officer being able to scan your license plate and know this, or is it connected to the internet in some way, notifying them when these types of things are occurring?
Great question. There's no scanning that takes place. And yes, the officer will be notified. That goes into the technology, on how they will be communicated, how the law enforcement would know that something has separated from the license plate of what's going on. But yes, they will be notified. There's a type of communication that we have available. Does that answer your question? Yes, well, tracking, I know that there has been major concerns, including myself. Don't want anyone to know where we are at all times, So yes, as far as the average tracking and scanning, the law enforcement will not have that ability to do so. But when I state in an instance of an emergency, for example, a year ago, there was a family driving up the mountains of California. It was a really high mountain, and their vehicle went over off the side of the mountain. Well, no one knew where this vehicle was, and it wasn't until there were some hikers going through the valley, they noticed the vehicle, and they called the authorities. And the thing about that is that there was another vehicle down there as well. So we have some grandparents that want to take a road trip, and we know that we don't think they should, but they want to anyways. We want to be concerned if they haven't called us in 24 hours, what's going on with our grandparents? So we can say, okay, it's been 24 to 48 hours. We don't know what's going on with our grandparents. You can send a panic signal to the officer. They'll send a panic signal to the plate, and you can locate them. They were just in Vegas enjoying themselves. No, but it will let you know at ease.
Okay. We've got one more question far left here.
Thank you. Good morning. I want to commend you for finding a unique place to position your business and create innovation.
Thank
Good
you.
job for you.
Thank you.
My question is related to your competitors. I know that this is innovative, but what do you foresee your competitor? Who do you foresee your competitors being?
Well, yeah, I have two competitors so far, and what they have a computerized license plate. But how many of us know what a Microsoft Surface is? Surface Pro, similar to an iPad. Their system is the entire computer. And what they originally had was that they were going to advertise, you know, at a stoplight. So if you want to go to Wendy's or McDonald's at a stoplight, they'll have all these advertisements on their computerized license plate, as well as if a vehicle was stolen on this completely computer license plate, they would have stolen at the top. Well, with a entirely computerized license plate, you know, there's a lot of technicalities that can occur. You know, one, definitely in weather related, and two, the cost will rise extremely high because you're changing the structure of the entire way license plates have been manufactured.
Okay, last question. What can we as a community do to help you?
Yes, great question. I want to improve me. If you say, Rachel, let me help you to improve your pitch. Rachel, we were definitely in need of funding. Let me connect you with the movers and shakers. You know, from my understanding, I thought I communicated with the movers and shakers in Missouri. But, you know, and a lot of the movers and shakers love the idea. My senator, you know, loves the idea, but they want to wait to see what happens in California first. So I need to be connected to movers and shakers, people that are ideal, people that are innovative. Say, Rachel, okay, we see the potential of your product, of your business, and we're going to help you get there. I need the people who have been down the road that I am trying to journey down to help me to make it, you know, to the top.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming. Just to let you know, there is a Founders Live event in this room at 10:15. Please stay, you do not have to be registered. And also, Eric from the library has left pamphlets out on the desk, so please stop and pick those up. See you all next week.